From Reuters, my friends, we're going in. Trump to send National Guard troops to Chicago. And I say, thank you, Mr. President. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday he would deploy National Guard troops to fight crime in Chicago, an extraordinary effort to militarize the country's third largest city that was likely to trigger a legal battle with local officials. We're going in. I didn't say when, but we're going in, Trump told reporters at the White House. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson swiftly condemned the action. Quote, he just wants his own secret police force that will do publicity stunts whenever his poll numbers are sinking, whenever his jobs report shows a stagnating economy, whenever he needs another distraction from his failures. Hours earlier, a federal judge blocked the Trump admin from using military to fight crime in California, a ruling that does not apply to other states. But the judge said that Trump's stated desire to send troops to Chicago and other cities provided support for his ruling. Now, we also have this from the AP. Trump says he will order federal intervention in Chicago and Baltimore despite local opposition. Now, this is what I just can't stand, okay? Local opposition. What does that really mean? Well, I grew up in Chicago. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. My friends and I have witnessed gang violence. I remember this so vividly. My friend talking to me on the phone saying, wait, hold on. Oh, dude, there's two people dragging a corpse through the alley right now. The next day on the news, dead body found in a dumpster. And we were like, wow. The hot dog shop 1 block away from where I grew up had bulletproof windows with bullet holes in them from being shot at. Wow. And it's kind of crazy because you grow up like that and you're like, this is just the way things are, I guess. And then you get older and you realize it's actually not, and it doesn't need to be that way. But the funny thing about the crime in Chicago and the gang violence and all that stuff is that they also have police corruption. One of my favorite stories out of Chicago was a meter maid gave a parking ticket to a cop because he parked illegally because he thought he could. And the cop came out of the bar where he was drinking, grabbed her by the throat and slammed her against the wall. There's also another story where a bunch of cops beat the crap out of a bartender. So you have a state where a bunch of the governors went to prison, where the police have been accused of operating what are called black sites, where they arrest people and detain them for days on end and torture them. You've got the famous stories out of Chicago where, what was that guy's name? He would cattle prod people. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea who that guy was.
Man, what's that guy? I always forget that guy's name. Cop.
Chicago police?
Yeah, electrocuted people. Everybody knows that story. That was Chicago, right? What is this? You know what I got to do? I got to ask the robot. Who was the cop?
John Berg. In
the
70s and 80s.
Is it Burge?
Berg, B-U-R-G-E.
Yeah, that was Chicago, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we know all about it. Man, talk about a corrupt city. And so when Donald Trump is like, man, this is not how things should be, I'm like, that's great, fantastic. I got to tell you, where I grew up, if we had National Guard, it'd have been fantastic. What did we do? My friends and I rode around on our skateboards to the park, and that's about it. That's all we did. And the gangbangers shot at each other, and we'd get robbed and things like that. And the police would never do anything about it. So personally, I think this is fantastic. However, you take a look at the leadership, and we got a great sponsor, CousinTeas.com. So that is CousinTeas.com. You guys know Cousin Teas pancakes and waffle mix and maple syrup, right? Who doesn't? This stuff is fantastic. I have so many boxes of this. Plus, we're big fans of Terrence Williams, coming on the show quite a bit. He's got pancake mix. He's got coffee. He's got syrup, apparel, drinkware, bundles. He has jams and jellies. So he writes, growing up in foster care, I always dreamed about a big family gatherings around the breakfast table with grandma in the kitchen cooking up big family breakfasts. It's my hope. There are many family conversations, laughs, and lasting memories made as a result of families and loved ones joining together to eat Cousin Teas pancakes. Guys, use promo code TIMPOOL. You'll get 25% off at CousinTeas.com. They got options for everybody. They got keto-friendly, low-carb, protein-packed. They got gluten-free. You know, I've got that one. I got all of them, actually. We ordered just tons of it. It's fantastic. And it's delicious. And, I don't want to speak out of turn for Terrence, but I feel like this was a big reaction when they banned Aunt Jemima and tried playing that dirty game. And so he launches this breakfast brand company, which is absolutely incredible, and we're huge fans. So support the culture. Support the movement. Say no to the woke garbage. Get behind your boy Terrence K. Williams. He's amazing. And support the work that he's doing at CousinTeas.com. Promo code TimPool. Shout out. There is something to be said for I left. A lot of people would say, Tim, you should have stayed to fight to make your city better. But, my attitude was kind of like, That's like asking someone to knock down a skyscraper with a ball-peen hammer. Just not much I can do about it. Now, Donald Trump, the president, sending in the troops, I think would be great. And I think crime will get cut in half or better. But for political reasons, anything Trump does ever is wrong. And to give you an example, for some reason, the left defended Cracker Barrel. I don't know why. It's just a miserable decision. But outside of that, what do you guys think? Should we send in the troops? 19, what do we got, 17 other cities?
Look, the policing works, right? If you have police on the street, it disincentivizes people to commit crimes. And then you have less crime in your city. It's working in D.C. It will likely work in other cities. Whether or not there will be constitutional, fights on the grounds of constitutionality, probably. But, I mean, if the people want it, then I think that Trump will actually be able to do it. I've talked about this a little bit before. If you've got popular support, the president has great leeway. If you don't have popular support, then it doesn't matter if the president's doing something legal or not, he'll get so much pushback, he'll almost have to stop doing things.
This is like, have you guys seen Landman?
I know what it is.
Billy Bob.
I have to.
That show's great.
I've heard that.
So awesome. Billy Bob's fantastic. Maybe not in the real, I don't know his politics, but in the show he's good. And they have these oil fields where cartels are basically, running through this land. And so they go to the government, they say, hey, look, do some training drills here. We don't actually want the military to enforce law or go after the cartels, but just by being there, you deter them.
Sure.
This is what Trump is talking about the National Guard. These guys, the National Guard, they're not going to arrest people. They're not going to issue tickets. They're literally going to stand there, probably staring at the wall. But gangbangers are going to have a real hard time committing crimes in the presence of armed National Guard.
Yeah, so two things. One is your point is actually really well taken, which is it was actually a native son of Illinois. I mean, it was Lincoln himself who famously said, I'm paraphrasing here, I'm probably going to butcher it, but with public opinion, anything is possible.
Yep.
Without public opinion, nothing will work. So, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is what I call the art of the 80-20 issue for Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump is a genius. He is a master at putting Democrats, the left, in this case, Mayor Johnson, who's such a, far left loonbag that he makes Lori Lightfoot look like a freaking moderate. I mean, I didn't think that was even possible, but this guy Brendan Johnson somehow finds a way to do it. Forcing him and JB Pritzker to oppose sending in some sort of federal help. I mean, just for context, Chicago's murder rate is 22 murders per 100,000 people. So New York City right now is about 5. So literally less than 25% of that. Washington, D.C. is actually not a whole lot higher than New York City, believe it or not. So Chicago is the bloodiest American city, bar none. I lived there for a few years, Tim. I went to law school there. I know you're a native son of Chicago. It's gotten a hell of a lot worse, actually, just since I graduated. I graduated law school there in 2016, so that's 9 years ago now. I've been back a handful of times since then. My now wife, when we were dating, she was then my girlfriend. I took her to Chicago for the very first time. She had her purse stolen in broad daylight in Streeterville. This is like a nice neighborhood downtown.
Oh, but just so you understand, that's where the crime happens.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. Yeah.
Look, to be honest, guy from my neighborhood on the south side ain't going to be robbing me. We're both poor. No, we're going to go to Streeterville, dude.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, it's the wealthier areas where people show up and do the muggings. And because in these like uppity neighborhoods, these well-to-do liberals either are going to pull the, oh, you poor person, you just don't know better. Or they're going to be like, oh, I'm so scared. You don't want to go to a white working class area in Chicago, like, on the south side near like Sox Park or whatever, and mess around with those Irish dudes. Let me tell you, man, during the No NATO protests in 2012, all these leftists were marching through Chicago. And Southside Irish, when they started marching through the neighborhood of these white working class people, they beat the crap out of the Antifa guys. And the leftists were like, they were really confused as to why white working class Chicagoans on the South Side were beating the crap out of them. But they were. So that's why they typically stay out of these neighborhoods. But look, gangbangers don't rob other gangbangers in their own neighborhoods. They go to wealthier areas.
Yeah. Well, I think like Trump's tapping into something that a lot of Americans feel, which is they're really frustrated of being pushed out to the suburbs and not having access to like 80% of their city. Like I grew up in Memphis. I grew up in like a leafy suburb, so it's fine. But like 80% of the city is completely off limits. And it's super depressing because you look around the rest of the developed world, or you look at places like Tokyo, and you can live anywhere you want. If you're a young person, you have access to cheap housing. where, like I said, in the United States, yeah, at least more than half of your city is going to be completely unlivable. Trump's tapping into that.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.